Do you feel a profound need to help people in your community? Do you aspire to transform the lives of your fellow citizens and create a brighter future for children? But how can you achieve this? Do you traditionally rely on donations and charities? These methods, while noble, often provide only temporary relief and rarely address the root cause of poverty. Consider a more innovative and sustainable approach, helping people through business. This idea is not only attractive, but also revolutionary. The Invest in Poverty Initiative, IPI, Campaign 100 Plus, employs a business model to combat poverty. IPI is not a donation, a charity, or a crowdfunding campaign. While donations and charity efforts are valuable, they seldom bring about lasting change. On the other hand, using a business model to support people can yield extraordinary results. By transforming poverty investor contribution into tools for positive change, IPI offers a new paradigm where supporting people also generates financial returns. IPI is more than a campaign. It represents unity, impact, and a transformative mission. At its core, IPI is dedicated to bringing people together to create a significant positive change in our communities and beyond. By joining forces, we can leverage our collective power to end poverty and create a brighter, more equitable future for all. Together, we can move mountains. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Michael Masresha. Today, we have good news and exciting news. And I have a special guest here, Dr. Fissa Shetu, who established Ethiopia's first private university, is regarded one of the nation's most influential figures, is our guest today. Welcome, Dr. Fissa.
Thank you, Mike. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Great.
So it's an honor to have you here today. We're very special to have you.
The honor is mine.
Okay. So before I take off, I want to just mention one important thing. Dr. Fissa is the creator and founder of Purpose Black Ethiopia, an organization that aims to bring economic excellence. So before I get into it in detail, please introduce yourself.
Well, I'm Fissa Shetu Mariam. I'm the CEO of Purpose Black Ethiopia, and right now we're involved in a project, a very transformative project, which has a lot of huge vision and ambition, and definitely we'll be discussing about it. So that's who I am.
Amazing. Now, the word IPI, everybody's talking about it. It was an amazing launch that you did as a whole Purpose Black company. So we want to know, what is IPI? And before I get there, hold up. So my first question to you is, can you describe the common factors that contribute to poverty around the world?
Well, I mean, in terms of trying to list down all the factors which contribute to poverty, I mean, it will take us the whole show.
Of
so
course,
anyway,
of course.
It's a lot of things. I mean, there's the man-made factors like war, and because of that, there is a lot of displacement, and there's natural things that really contribute to poverty. The economics, the way the entire economic system is set up, it favors some people and disfavors others. So it's a host of issues, contributing to poverty. Your background, where you come from, and things
Exactly.
like that. So many things contribute to poverty.
Great. So for some of you who don't know anything about IPI, let me just give you a glimpse of IPI. So IPI is called Invest in Poverty Initiative. And exactly what does it mean when you say campaign 100 plus? And how does it aim to address poverty as a whole?
Yeah, as poverty is a ubiquitous issue. It's it's a lot of people suffer from it, and if you really consider the number of people who are very poor, below the poverty line, it's in billions. So generally, most of us consider poverty as a problem, as a challenge. It's something that either you aid people or something like that. But if you really you can develop a different paradigm, whereby instead of considering poverty as a problem or a burden or a challenge for us, you can equally consider it as an opportunity. So most of the time, up to now, so far, how we have been trying to solve the issue or address the issue of poverty is through aid, which in our view has become a problem in itself. But yeah, because essentially I'm not in any way saying that, or denying that, aid doesn't help. Exactly. It does. It's really done a lot of marvelous jobs, and it really has helped a lot of people. I'm not in any way, belittling or, estimating the value or the importance of aid. Yes. But what we're saying is that, what we have learned so far, based on the experience, particularly here in Ethiopia and in Africa, is that what aid has done is that it's created, dependency. That's one problem. Okay. It's a lot of people, for instance, in our country, a lot of people who have the capability to do things, even to farm or to engage in trade or other activities, because they get better support from aid institutions and so forth. They tend to rely on aid, and that has really brought about a culture of aid dependency. That's one. And the other one is in terms of, when you really consider the amount of money that's being, given out globally, it's huge. Every year, the data shows that about $1 trillion.
Amazing.
$1 trillion
a year.
USD. $1 trillion is given out as a charity.
That's just in USD?
Yeah. USD, yeah.
You in America?
Yes, in America. In America alone. In America alone, more than $500 million, almost close to $500 billion is given out as charitable giving, and that's huge amount of money. And when you consider this thing globally, it almost closes up to $1 trillion every year, and the trend is increasing. I mean, people are really globally all over the world, especially now that we have the middle class and expanding middle class, because people have some more money to spend and so forth.
Exactly.
They tend to give for different causes and purposes. So what has that created is that it's a lot of institutions depending on that money. So instead of that money trickling down to the needy, there's a lot of it's become a business for this company.
Exactly.
This is the second problem that we have observed, and the third problem is as this thing continues, for how long do people continue to support it? Sustainability is another issue that all of us has to consider. So, considering all these critical elements, we say that can we come up with a different paradigm, whereby instead of dealing poverty with the aid model, why don't we use this business model, which is a sustainable model, whereby whatever you give becomes a revolving kind of thing, and then use the business model, make it sustainable, and then in the process, instead of people just giving away, if you create a mechanism whereby they can get something out of it, they consider giving as a business, not as something that you give it just to feel good, but in return you get something out of it, a financial or some other remuneration for giving. So that we felt would make people to continue giving. So the issue of sustainability will be addressed, and also it will entice other people who are not used to giving, to even join the giving thing and things like that. And the other thing is, instead of giving the money, if you give it in such a way that it comes back, whereby instead of just giving it away, if you lend it, or if you create or establish a business for them whereby they can pay it back and things like that, so that will address the issue of dependency.
Exactly.
So it's this kind of thing that we have come up with. So we really said that instead of using the aid model, the business model is the one which is going to be helping us to really make inroads to the problems that we have observed, and that's why we came up with IPI, which means invest in poverty. So instead of seeing poverty as a problem, seeing it as with a different lens, seeing it as an opportunity of an investment opportunity or something like that, whereby all stakeholders, all entities who are involved in this process can get something out of it. So it becomes a mutually beneficial relationship for the giver, for the taker, for the ones who are involved in the entire process, because everybody gets something out of it. If you can really, develop this concept. By the way, this is a unique model.
I've never. This is a new project, and everybody's talking about it.
To research it, and everybody, when we talk about it, they say, "How can you do it?" and things like that.
Exactly.
By the way, it's a very, very simple, straightforward model that we have come up. So this is what IPI is all about.
Means. For audience who are listening, and this is exciting news as far as like having this initiative where you can kind of give and at the same time have something in return. So this is amazing, and my question leads to that exactly. What you said. So
and the other thing that you raised was the 100 plus, the campaign 100 plus.
So what does it mean 100? I mean, that's like 100 plus. Is it 100%? Or I don't understand it now. I just want to get that.
So essentially, it's a very simple, straightforward thing, which is like we're trying to invite people to contribute at least $100 every month. So this money, it's not something that they're going to simply just give it away. So it's something that they put as a contribution, but instead of being a simple giveaway, sort of donation or something like that, it's going to be a refundable contribution. Can you imagine that?
Imagine.
It's a refundable contribution, which means these people who've contributed this money, they can take it back any time they want it. So they don't lose their money. So essentially, it's putting it it's a contribution in the context of donation or membership.
Okay.
But essentially, what we're used to is that you just give it away. There is no way that you get it back. So in our case, it's going to be kept for you for a time being. And then whenever you want to take it back, you can take it back. So it's a refundable kind of contribution. So what we are trying to do here is the campaign is, to invite the world to at least contribute $100 every month until they want to stop it, and that money will be kept for them until they want to take it back. So they can take it back partially, or they can take it back 100%, and so forth. And on top of that, in fact, the way we started here in Ethiopia is there is a way in such a way when the money is kept, it bears interest.
Now that's the catch. I was waiting for that.
It's not only that you're not going to get back your money, but the most important thing on top of that one, you get interest out of it.
So there's two gold in a bucket, meaning that if I give money, if I donate money, if I contribute, at the end, not only will I get my money back, but there's also I'm making interest.
So you're making business.
Wow.
By donating or by helping others, you make business. It's not that, or you're not going to get back your principal, but most importantly, you get back your interest. So that's a very unique thing, and part of the interest that's generated from this money, which is contributed, which is put in a bucket, is going to be used to help the farmers. It's going to be used to help the poor people all over the world, and then that money is not going to be just given out to them. So it's not going to be a handout. So essentially, we're going to be establishing businesses, all other business activities that these people are going to pay back. But in the process, this whatever help that we are going to give them, whatever business that we are going to establish for them, is going to help them, help transform their lives and help them to get out of poverty. So essentially, that's what we are doing.
A brilliant idea. My next question actually kind of hint on that, answering it. So can you explain specific mission? I'm sure you have already set up a platform and even purpose of investment property initiative that can relate to property. So just explain to the viewers about your mission and actually.
So essentially, in terms of as Purpose Black, essentially our plan is to impact the lives of 1 billion people globally. And these people, most of them, their livelihood depends on farming, because the majority of especially black people, their livelihood, 85% of them, is dependent on agriculture. So we're squarely focused on agriculture because we really want to make an impact on large chunk of the African population and things like that. So we have different projects. So in order to transform their lives, it's better, instead of just giving out the money, it's just better to to conceive or design a business activity or a business project that would help help transform the lives of these people. So essentially what we did is we came up with a unique project. It's called DFFI, which is Direct from the Farmer Initiative. DFFI.
Okay.
So it means direct from the farmer initiative.
Okay.
So it's I mean straightforward thing.
Yes,
so essentially direct from the farmer. What? A product. In this case, the first project that we are going to work on is coffee. Why coffee? Because this project is launched, the pilot is launched in Ethiopia. Coffee is the primary product. It's the backbone of the economy.
Exactly.
And about 15 million people's lives depend on coffee. So where else will you be able to make an impact than getting involved in coffee? That's why we're involved in coffee. The whole idea is, well, these coffee producers who are residing in Ethiopia and ultimately in Africa and eventually globally, they are poor.
Okay.
And why? It's just because of the economics. You know, a kilo of cherry, coffee cherry, is sold for 30 Ethiopian birr. And a kilo, a processed and value-added coffee, when it reaches the consumer, you know how much it costs? It costs about, I mean, the minimum is 1,000 Ethiopian birr, but it goes up to 2,000 Ethiopian birr.
Wow.
So imagine 30 birr and then 2,000 birr, or say, I mean, let's take it to 1,000 birr. You see the gap, the difference.
Yes.
It's almost like the coffee growers are getting maybe less than 5% of what the coffee can produce.
Yes.
So who else? Who gets the rest? It's those people who are
in the middleman.
So those people who are in the middle, those people who are adding value, those people who are processing, those people are blah blah blah. So essentially, those are the people who are enriched, who are at the back, at the brunt of these poor people. So unless we create a situation whereby these farmers can get a better chunk of the entire coffee price, what it can produce, then definitely this vicious cycle of poverty is going to continue. So essentially what we are trying to create is, enhancing the capability of these coffee growers to help them to become not only growers, but also processors and also exporters. So that means we're going to directly connect these producers with that of consumers. So essentially this DFFI, what it's going to do is we're going to provide them through this IPI. The contribution that we're going to mobilize. We are going to use that money that we're going to generate from this initiative, and then we're going to establish coffee processing microprocessors, thousands of them.
Okay.
So essentially what it does is, instead of the growers selling the cherry, what they do is they dry it, they grind it, they roast it, they grind it, and then they pack it at international standard, and then Purpose Black, through its channel, which is called Afribuna means African coffee. Afribuna, which we envision it to be competing with the likes of Starbucks and so forth.
Amazing.
With specialty coffee. It's going to be throughout the world. So we're going to have cafes, and we're going to have distribution channels. We're going to be distributing it through some of the biggest supermarkets and so forth. So department stores and so forth. So essentially, what it means is directly from the farmers, it's going to reach the consumers. So supposing that the coffee is sold for $20. We will only be charging maybe 10% or 15% of that one as a service charge, but we're trying to do is whatever cost will be deducted, and at least 40-50% of whatever is going to be getting, I mean in terms of will be
depreciation, the difference,
and then it's going to be distributed to the farmers. So can you imagine what that's going to do to the farmers? Their income will increase tenfold or something like that.
Yes, the equivalent. Now let me stop you here for viewers. So not only am I contributing, but I'm also getting my money back at the same time. I'm actually contributing.
You get
interest at the same time. I'm contributing to the economics excellence as far as helping the farmers,
fight poverty,
cutting out the middleman.
Yes.
Wow.
Genius. You cut out the middleman and so forth, and then directly you will be impacting, and you will be helping people, and you will be helping fighting poverty. So essentially, that's the whole thing. So in the process, you as a contributor, you get a benefit out of it, because you get back your money, you get interest, and then you get spiritual satisfaction because you're helping the poor, and you're helping fight poverty. By the way, this project alone, it addresses 9 of the 17 SDG goals. 9 of the 17 SDG goals, poverty, no poverty, and so forth. All 9 of them, this project will address them. So the income will be increased, and then you benefit. The farmers will benefit because essentially their income will increase because now they are not only producing and selling at a very low price, but they are processors and they're selling directly, exporting it, selling directly to the consumers. So they get more money, almost 10 times of what they actually are getting right now. So their lives will be transformed. They benefit. And also Purpose Block as a business which is running this thing, as an entity, it benefits. So anybody who's involved in this process, the banks will benefit because we'll be mobilizing money for them. So essentially what we're going to create is an ecosystem of benefits.
Yes.
Yeah. So if we come and work together, pool our resources, and then get something out of it, and everybody will be benefiting. I mean, what else can you say? I mean, this is a kind of really a very unique and very smart model that we have come up with.
Yeah, I mean, it's like 100% guaranteed, where you are actually contributing. Not only are you contributing again, once again for the viewers, you're actually accommodating and empowering the people that's been taken advantage for years and years and years. And only you can win through economic empowerment.
Yes.
So this initiative is new. It's very creative. Dr. Fissa, I think you're one of very creative man that I'm knowing, and your past history tells that you are a fighter and you're not scared of challenges. So what was the cause behind how you created IPI? Like, why was it so important to you?
Yeah.
Why did you wait this long?
Actually, I wouldn't. I mean, like, for instance, Purpose Block was started, Black Economic Excellence was started 3 years ago. So essentially it's part of our entire initiative. So essentially the whole idea is we've set a target of reaching or impacting 1 billion people, and then definitely you have to come up with models like this one, projects like this one that would enable us to attain that target. So it's part of a big initiative. So that initiative has to be started somewhere, and then you have to get the ball rolling. So essentially that's why it took us like 3 years to come up with this one. So, and it's a learning curve that we have to go through, and then identify what the real problems are, and look for solutions to address these problems, and then you have to design a model that will help you address these solutions, and ultimately we have arrived at this stage.
Wow, now. Yes, it is. So my next question is, what are the long-term goals as far as like what do you expect the impact to be? The IPI initiative. I'm sure you did your research and your team, and actually within 5 years, for example, what do you see yourself?
So in the next 5 years, our target is to mobilize $100 billion.
Amazing.
So that's money-wise. And in terms of impact, close to 100 million people will be impacted through this project.
And I'm sure they will.
This is in 5 years.
Yes.
In 15 years, by the time we arrive at our final destination for Black Economic Excellence, essentially in terms of our target is to impact 1 billion people. So essentially, this is a sort of a revolving fund. As you can imagine, this 100 billion comes, and then we're not just distribute it and give it away. Like we used to do it for the last decades,
Exactly.
People been giving away trillions, just give it away.
Not getting back.
What we are saying is, let's put it in a system whereby it revolves. Essentially, we give it to the farmers. Actually, we establish businesses for them. They pay it back, and that money goes to another community. It impacts, and then more money comes in. So it's sort of snowballs into growing, into becoming and impacting. It's a huge ecosystem, which is a 1.5 trillion ecosystem, which would impact 1 billion people. So essentially, that's the kind of thing. So essentially, it's a snowballing kind of revolving fund that we are going to create.
So it affects down the hill and up the hill. Yes. So it's a whole
an entire ecosystem that's
ecosystem globally.
Yeah.
People are infected. Okay.
Yeah.
So so as far as so you mentioned about the goals, you mentioned about the returns, you mentioned about assisting and helping and empowering the farmers. So my next question is, how does the Invest in Poverty initiative, who can collaborate with you? Exactly. And is it through other organizations that you're looking for, or stakeholders, or what is the mission behind it?
Well, in terms of who can be part of this system, we can become a stakeholder of the system. Everybody who really want to fight, poverty, who really want to do away with poverty, who really cares for, the people who are really suffering right now. Anybody who wants to contribute something to this one can be part of it. There is nothing that they lose by being part of it. In fact, if at all, they get something out of it. It's not only helping, but they get money back, they get interest back. So that's essentially what we are talking about. There is a lot of money which is idle out there, a lot of money which is just being given out, a lot of money which is just staying somewhere in the banks and things like that. So essentially, why don't we mobilize it in such a way that we put it in this system? By the way, it's a very, controlled system whereby Purpose Black is not going to take that money, is not going to invest it. Essentially what it does is it's going to take that money and give it to a custodian. In this case, the custodian is the bank. So Purpose Black doesn't have access to your money or whoever is going to be contributing that money. So essentially that's why you will be able to take out anywhere. So it's a guaranteed system. So you put it in that custody, sort of escrow kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So essentially what happens is very safe. So essentially there are two things that people usually ask. I mean, when we ask them to contribute or to be part of something. One is in terms of risk, what risk does it have? And the second one is, what do I get out of it? So these are the two questions that normally you get asked. So essentially, this model, it answers both questions. First of all, it's not risky because essentially you bring your money and you put it in a blocked account, which is controlled by the bank. So what happens is it's safe. It's not the money that we're going to take and invest it on the farmers. We are interested only in the interest. So your money is safe.
Now I get it. So,
and the other thing is you get something out of it because it bears interest. Part of it, 50% of or something, a certain portion of the interest comes back to you. So instead of you used to just giving away money. Now instead of losing it, it's kept for you, but it also bears interest for you. And portion of that interest is the one that we'll be using to support this project. So this is the whole concept. So who can get involved? Anybody who's interested. Millions and hundreds of millions of people who are just giving away trillions of US dollars. A portion, if you can harness or if you can channel 10% of that one into this contribution that we've targeted 5 years. In just 1 year, we can reach 100 billion people. Corporations who are just giving away money, millions and billions
throughout the world.
Yes, a lot. And most of the money, the charitable money which is being channeled, how much of it trickles down to the poor people.
Yes.
Most of it is overhead.
Some of them don't even get it.
And it's lost in a lot of ways. So for me, I'm not in any way challenging them, but what I'm saying is the reality speaks for itself, because what has aid and things really helped us. It has helped us, but to the extent that we wanted it to help us. And we know how much of that money is being just
thrown out. And like you
said, essentially, let's keep your money safe. So corporations can participate. Non-profits who are involved in development organizations, they can get involved with us. So anybody who really wants to help, they can chip in.
You mentioned help. Anybody can. So my next question is, like you say, anybody can be a member, anybody can be ambassador. So how does being a member of IPI versus being ambassador, the difference?
Yeah, so here it comes. Here is the concept. So essentially, we don't want to only ask people just to come and donate money and then you go away and then maybe every month you just come and donate. We want to engage them. So essentially, this is an idea which is concepted and born in Purpose Black, but we want this idea to be everybody's idea. So we want everybody to be active participant of it. So by just contributing, you become a member. And then after, we want to engage. How? Spread the word. Bring in more contributors. Establish chapters in your community. So we really want to establish a community of IPI. So we call them these members, or our members who invest in poverty, we call them PIs. PIs mean PI, which means poverty investors. So in fact, we're going to create a global unity. In fact, a huge movement against poverty. So the concept is not that people only be contributing, but we want to establish communities. So these communities, which at the grassroots level is a chapter, will not only be involved by donating, but also we want them to act against poverty in their own vicinity. Like neighbors, they can start helping neighbors. They can start helping each other. They can continue engaging, bringing in more people in terms of mobilization. A lot of things that they can do. So that community, those chapters will get together, and we're going to have national chapters, and then we're going to have a global summit every year, whereby delegates from every continent, every corner of the world will be gathering together. We will be celebrating the activities of our members, and then what they have achieved, and there are going to be awards, and we'll be discussing lessons learned. Different presentations are going to be there, and then the achievements of the previous year will be assessed and so forth. That way we grow as a community. In fact, we have a huge platform, digital platform, just like Facebook and things like that, which we have launched, and then they can continue communicating in that one. So the more they engage, the more we give them recognition. So the first level is you become a member. Just contribute and you become a member. The second level is when you bring in 100 more members, to the fold, this community of global unity, then you become an ambassador. And then the next step is you bring in like 1,000, then you become local ambassador plus local delegate. And then the next level will be 5,000, then you become a national delegate. Then the next, it goes continuous until it reaches, there are 6 levels. There is a member, there is ambassador and local delegate, there is ambassador and national delegate, there is ambassador and global delegate, and ambassador and patron, and there's ambassador and laureate. So it goes up to the highest level.
Yes.
So the more people achieve, the more they bring in terms of individuals or corporations or members, and in terms of financial contributions, the more recognition they get, and the more delegation status they get, the more they will be invited to attend the global summit and so forth. They will be awarded, globally recognized, and so forth. So it's not going to be like you just give
the money away.
It's going to be creating a huge global unity movement against poverty. Why unity movement against poverty? The world is very divided now.
Yes.
Thanks to politics. I don't want to say thanks to religion, but people are divided by religion, ethnicity, race. We have more discourse, more fighting. A lot of bad things happening, and we're so disunited, and it's really a very sad world. So essentially, if at all there is something that should unite us, it should be poverty, because it affects us one way or another.
Exactly.
It affects the Western world because it's all about migrants coming to their country. It's all the time helping these people and so forth. And it's a lot of terrorism and things like that. There's a lot of things. You come to the poor countries, it's all very obvious. Poverty is like it's a lot of issues.
Yes.
So essentially, if at all there is one thing that unites us, it's poverty. It's economic. So what we are trying to do is, at least, no matter what your background, religious, political, ethnic, whatever, what not, helping other people is one cross-cutting issue, whatever your ideology, whatever your background. So we wanted to use this really this vehicle or this issue to unite us, and anybody who wants to really part of this is the kind of a global unity world that we're trying to create.
Amazing, which I like, because I have to kind of repeat it to the audience. Whereas I'm going backward to explain it. I'm not only contributing money, but I'm also gaining so much more, as far as like not so much of the commission, but I'm actually contributing to help society as a whole, social responsibility as a whole. Plus, and on top of that, my gain will help other people fight poverty. Not only that, my money would always return to me at my choice, and also help other people throughout the world.
Yes. And on top of that one, you're part of a community.
It's a whole community.
You're not by yourself.
And members,
exactly. Ambassadors, and all sorts of chapters and so forth. So we're creating a community of really good intended people. So it's really a huge phenomenon that we are really creating.
It's a good cause. So, so what are some of the less obvious, like people don't see, and like less obvious benefits, or I would say positive outcome of participating in IPI? Like certain people might not get it at all first time. So what are like the opportunities and the things that people might not see? Like your message, what would you tell them about IPI? If they don't get nothing else, just send them a message. What is the obvious?
Yeah, if you don't get any financial returns, I mean, people are just used to just giving away money, just with the expectation that they get some spiritual benefit out of it.
Yes.
By helping another person, by really contributing something to help solve the problem of other people in the other corner of the world. So there's this. We believe that there are hundreds of millions, if not billions, of people who are really out there, really longing and aching to help others. So that's a spiritual satisfaction that you don't see it, you don't count it, but it's really, for me, it's more than anything, more than the money, or more than whatever you're getting. So this the other thing is beyond the spiritual thing, the connectedness that we are creating. So the feel good kind of thing, We are creating a unity community all over the world. Yes. Trying to change the cloud, the bad cloud which is really over us. A cloud of doom, a cloud of destruction, and things like that. What we are trying to create is a cloud of hope, a cloud of people coming together, a cloud of it's a cloud of a hope of trying people trying to support each other and so forth. So essentially, it's seeding a seed of hope for people. That's really something that you can touch. But that's the big picture that most people may not be able to see. But as far as we are concerned, there is a lot just beyond financial or other direct things that you get, but there is other spiritual and other aspects, the social aspects really, that this project is really going to bring a lot.
Exactly. So, based on IPI, globally, we talk about globally, impacting throughout the years, within 5 years, how many people you are impacting. And through your impactedness, that you're going to have members, a community of people that can embrace this idea and bring people as a whole. And this idea will pretty much help those people that's been taken advantage for years and years and years. Not only that, not only are you fighting poverty, but you're also given empowerment through economic ability, whether it's technology, whether it's knowledge, but something that you're doing for mankind as a whole.
Yeah. So essentially, if you're talking about specific numbers, you can take because for us, we really want to make it simple. There used to be a professor who used to teach us statistics, biostatistics in the university. You know how difficult that subject is.
Very difficult.
Every time, he gives us something and he asks us to explain that thing, that theory or something like that. You know how complicated it is in trying to look for words and things like that. He says, if you can't explain statistics to your grandmother, then you haven't understood statistics. So try to simplify. So that's the kind of thing that we are trying. We try to simplify this thing. So people can take the number 100. We have 100 plus. That means contribute $100 every month. And then continue contributing. So that's easy.
The campaign,
you can budget
100 plus.
100 plus, campaign 100 plus. And on top of that one, bring 100 people. At least bring 100 people. Okay. So that's 100 people. So your responsibility beyond, contributing $100 every month is bring in 100 people. And for us, our target is to reach $100 billion in 5 years. Okay. So to mobilize $500 billion through this project. And then the other thing is in terms of impact, in 5 years, impact 100 million people through this project. So essentially, this constant number of 100 is easy to understand.
100, so yes.
$100 contribution, bring in 100 people, at least achieve $100 million in 5 years, and impact 100 million people in 5 years. But ultimately, our in 15 years goal is, as I said it earlier, is helping 1 billion people and mobilize $1.5 trillion.
Yeah, amazing. So, it's a brilliant idea, genius. So, there's one question many people are asking around here. So, who's Teno?
Now is our ambassador. So, just like a mascot and something like that, he's our figurehead. He's an animated figurehead. Okay. So, especially, now he would be promoting, he would be our ambassador in terms of, promotion, in terms of all other, campaign activities. So, they will be seeing a lot of now in our advertisement and things like that in different activities. So, it's good to have something that everybody relates with. Yes. So essentially, now represents African people, a farmer, but not a poor farmer.
I like that idea.
Yeah, now is a very, very smart farmer. Yeah, he has a binocular. Yeah. And he has a the tablet.
The tablet. I've seen that.
He uses drones.
He's modernized.
He's modernized. He uses drones and so forth. So essentially, the whole thing is. To become the vision of the people, the poor farmers that we are helping right now. For them, tomorrow, for them to become just like him. People who uses precision farming. People who have cars, who control their farms from their offices with binoculars. And, whenever they want to do, they can send drones and so forth. So essentially, this is the kind of vision that we have for these farmers. So they shouldn't be continuing as being poor and things like that. So we want now to signify that so that people, whenever everybody looks at it, if you want to help, you want those farmers to be like him. And if you are the farmer, the person who's like receiving the assistance, then you want to transform your lives to be like him. And
just like him.
So so Tena is going to be a universal figure. So we want him to be a very household name.
Wow. That's a great idea. So viewers, I'm sitting here with Dr. Faisal, who's a very brilliant, creative entrepreneur, businessman, family man, who cares about the society as a whole. What do you want them to remember IPI? What do you want them to remember about Campaign 100 Plus? Because I think this IPI Campaign 100 Plus is going to be very, very known shortly.
What I want them to remember remember the IPI is like the world is going to be unified. So it's going to be a huge, huge transition. It's going to be essentially in terms of a new history has started. A history of not fighting with each other, but a history of being compassionate, a history of helping together. I mean each other. The history of celebrating positive thinking. Mindsets. All sorts of things. This is. Whenever they want really hear the word IPI, I want them to remember hope. Hope in the sense of, there is a lot of despair in this world. We need to come up with something. I mean, we just came out of COVID.
Just recently.
Very recently. The situation, people are still in that mood. So we need to have something that would uplift, our spirits and things like that. So for us, IPI is one of them. I wish we have many more projects like this one, which would really strive to bring people into the fold, bring people together, to collaborate, work together, no matter what we do. So unless we really strive to have this kind of environment, unless we really want to have create this kind of climate, the way we're heading is really very, very discouraging and, very scaring. So essentially, IPI has come out of this darkness. Especially, it was conceived in the middle of, believe it or not, in the middle of COVID. When we are, maybe that may be a blessing in disguise because at that time we were not engaged in other activities in our work and things like that. So we had spare time. So essentially, we came up with Black Economic Excellence and things like that. One thing led to another. Now we have ended up with IPI. Maybe God has meant it to be that way. So especially, I want him to remember that, a hope that there could be change. And there is definitely we can help. In this case, by the way, we're not begging people to come and do it.
That's what I like. That's what I like.
Do it for their own benefit.
Yeah, the contribution, I do like that.
In fact, that's the reason why we said investment. So the reason why you're investing is not because you're being begged to invest, but just because you're going to get something.
You're going to get returns.
You are giving just away money. We're giving away money. Now, that stopped, so your money is saved. I'm saved for you. And the other thing is, you get money interest and you get something out of it. And the other thing is you're helping people. So you're part of a community. You're creating a legacy. You're contributing to that legacy and so forth. So all these things, where would you get it? So essentially, that's what we're trying to get. And whenever they think of IPI, that's what I want them to come their mind. So there's going to be a change. There's going to be a positive change. There's going to be a huge hope. And if we come together, there's nothing that we can't accomplish. So that's what I want them to really remember.
Amazing. So we will end with this. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for being part of this conversation. Remember, IPI, Campaign 100 Plus, is in the making right now. So be a member, be ambassador, and help the common people. We just want to thank you, Dr. Fissa, for your time. We want to thank you for this opportunity, and we'll be seeing you soon.
Definitely, hopefully. We are in it together, so thank you for giving me the opportunity. And my expectation is that Black Economic Excellence Channel is going to be really the champion of IPI, and you guys are going to be really promoting it.
Of course.
Thank you again, once again,
thank
for
you,
the
Dr.
opportunity.
Fissa, for your time.
Thank you.
Until then, take care.
The Invest in Poverty Initiative Referral Program. In a world where every action counts, the Invest in Poverty Initiative, IPI, is leading the charge to empower individuals to make a tangible impact. And now, with the IPI Referral Program, you can amplify your efforts and earn commissions for every new customer you bring on board. By sharing your passion for social change and referring new customers to IPI, you're not only expanding the reach of our mission, but also securing a monetary reward for your advocacy. With the IPI Referral Program, not only can you spread awareness about this cause, but you can also earn commissions that go directly into your contribution wallet. Join Campaign 100 Plus and the IPI community today. Together, we can drive meaningful change and create a brighter future for those in need. Invest in Poverty Initiative, empowering change one referral at a time.